The following is a presentation of Channel 3 Sports.
From the Yorktown lanes in Parma Heights, welcome to our final week of second-round action here in the 1991 10-Pin Challenge. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Donovan. Welcome to Channel 3 once again. Glad to have you with us on the 10-Pin Challenge. Another Saturday afternoon of some great bowling. Following the tournament, we're really down to crunch time right now. We wrap up the second round today, which means this. We only have 2 more spots open in our quarterfinal round, and all of that will be decided here this afternoon. Plus, this is a big period of time for the folks here at Yorktown Lanes, and to help me call all the action and talk about that a little bit more, here's Ted Malicki.
Thank you, Jimmy. It's always a pleasure to be here with you on 10-Pin Challenge.
Like I said, we really think our bowlers are pretty professional, but the real pros are coming here, too.
That's right. They've been bowling here all week, and as soon as we get done with our telecast, they'll be here about 2 hours after we're done.
So it's a big time here at Yorktown Lanes, and we've really enjoyed bringing you the second round from here. Now let's get the bowling started for today. Let's meet the teams for our first match on today's show. Representing the Maple Leaf Lanes in Norwalk is the team of Lucy and Ken Starkey. The Starkeys have a 42-pin handicap. They meet Debbie Lampshire and Ron Romp from the Brookgate Lanes, who enter the second round action with a 31-pin handicap. Debbie Lampshire starts us off, 151 average. Lampshire and Romp had a tremendous opening round victory. They rolled a 251 and had 6 strikes in a row to start the match off.
Debbie Lampshire going through the nose, leaving a 6-pin, breaking up a split.
Ron Romp, her partner, has a bowling average of 178.
They had an excellent start with 6 strikes in a row. That's the most I think we've ever had for a start on 10-Pin Challenge. Ron Romp making the spare. Gets him off to a good start.
42-pin handicap for Lucy and Kenneth Starkey. Lucy has a bowling average of 137.
Lucy hitting the Brooklyn pocket, leaving the 5-9. They shot 179 their first game, but luckily they won.
Ken Starkey. The Starkeys are from Norwalk. His average coming in at 168. And we're clean for one flag.
Very nice cover on that. Very smooth game he has.
We're coming to you once again from the Yorktown Lanes in Parma Heights. And we've had great crowds the weeks that we have been here. And once again today, another big house to watch the final day of second round action. Here's an interesting lead.
Lucy Starkey missing head-pin left. She didn't follow through on that ball very good, Jim. She sort of cut it short, what we call, and the ball went to the left. Never got to the head-pin, leaving a very difficult spare.
Ken Starkey will come up here. Ted, what do you do with this?
You have to throw your strike ball. Hit it real light on the head-pin. If you hit it too heavy on the head-pin, you'll leave that 10 standing.
Nice try.
Leaving the 9-pin.
And the first opening of the match. Now, here's Debbie Lampshire. Debbie's from Cleveland.
Debbie leaving the same split.
So there's the 5-9.
Same spare, I should say.
We've seen that a little bit before, except it was the Starkeys shooting at it. Ron Romp.
Romp make the spare. He'll throw a strike ball to cover it.
No, he got the 9, left the 5, and they go opens. This is a wide, really the way they're matching each other. Both with spares in the first, both open in the second frames. And the Starkeys lead in the match by 9, and of course that's the difference in handicap coming in.
Debbie Lampshire hitting in a solid Brooklyn ball for a strike. That'll get him started. She's shaking there.
And they have their fans here, and she acknowledges the cheers right there as we swing back now to Lucy Starkey. Third frame. winners today move on to the quarterfinal round, and we begin quarterfinal round action next week here on 10-Pin Challenge, and that's when it really gets down to it.
There it is, another Brooklyn strike, another Brooklyn ball, leaving a 7-pin. Ken Starkey moved to the right to make this spare. You know, you can't lose light of the fact that you still have to make spares to keep yourself in the match here. Over the past few weeks, we've seen a lot of strikes, but you still need spares. Just like that, Ken making the spare.
We'll be back with more from Parma Heights at the Yorktown Lanes on 10-Pin Challenge after this.
10-Pin Challenge is sponsored in part by Nuremberg Plevin, by Speedy Muffler King. Visit your local Speedy for all your undercar repair needs. And by Thistledown, racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. First race, 1:30 p.m.
I've been a doctor for 30 years. Maybe I was lucky, but nothing like this ever happened before.
Compensation for malpractice is simple justice.
It can happen once. That's why I bought insurance from your company.
Representing the victim, Nuremberg Plevin.
They deserve to be compensated. It would be inexcusable to fight them.
Nuremberg Plevin has represented over 50,000 personal injury victims.
And frankly, I'm on their side. I'm their doctor.
Attorneys at law since 1929.
What you want, baby, we got it.
My dad taught me everything I know about cars. He only got one thing wrong. He never told me to bring my car to Speedy for brakes.
I always went some other place.
These guys are real pros. I get quality parts and a lifetime guarantee for shoes and pads.
I always went some other place.
Dad, do you think you get expert work like this for so little at some other place?
What other place?
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, that's what Speedy means to me.
Chasing you, my lady luck. Won't you smile on me today? Lady luck. Yeah. Won't you lift me up? The finish line's a shout away. Lady luck. Hey, hey. Chasing lady luck. The fastest game in town is hear that thistle down. Chasing lady luck.
All bowlers appearing on 10-Pin Challenge receive prizes from Speedy Muffler King. Come to Speedy for mufflers, brakes, or shocks and get the respect you deserve.
Another one of those matches, Ted, where it seems as though splits will really come back and kill you in any match, and maybe in this one too, because we've seen an early one.
Well, anytime you have opens, it's certainly going to haunt you, but you have to make those spares to stay in the game.
They're at 113 through 6. Ron Romp.
Ron Romp goes through the nose, leaving the 3-pin and the 6-pin. There again, she moved right on this same combination of pins. She's going to do that again. She better concentrate real hard on this. Much better. Much better spare that time. You see, if you stop and think about what you're doing, makes it a little easier.
And the team of Lampshire and Romp now get that badly needed spare in the 7th frame. We're up with Lucy Starkey, 7th frame for them. Good strike.
Solid strike. That's the first time she hit that head pin solid. It went to the pocket side and got them all down.
First strike for the Starkeys today. Second strike of the match because each team now with one. Here's Ken Starkey now. First time of the day throwing a strike ball. Try to double up.
Big ball there. That was a big ball. He may not get another chance to throw a double. But it's very hard when you haven't thrown a strike ball yet to come in there and say, okay, now throw me a strike.
The 6-10 is the spare leave for Lucy Starkey. On lane 37. She got it.
Makes the spare to stay into the lead.
Good match here in our opener of the day on 10-Pin Challenge. Glad that you're with us and hope that you've enjoyed the tournament so far. And, of course, we're really getting to fun time on 10-Pin Challenge near the end of the second round and then the rest of the route. Ron Romp throws his second split of the day.
Through the nose. Usually with that power ball, he'd break up that split, but that time it wasn't to be.
Starting to get late now to be going with open frames, and they're looking at another open frame here because this is highly unmakeable.
Debbie Lampshire. Wow, she gave it a try, but that's not the answer there. Get the pin.
So that would be your advice.
Yeah, get the pin on those spares that you can't make or that are almost impossible.
Lampshire and Romp could end at 199. That's the best they could do.
There's that power. Shakes him up. Gets a strike. That's the foundation frame. That ninth frame gives him one to work on. Keeps him in the match.
Now we go to the ninth frame, and here come the Starkeys as Lampshire and Romp will start doing some arithmetic in their heads, some quick math to see how far behind they are. Ken Starkey. No, he thought he had the strike and a solid 10 stands.
Threw the ball pretty good. Couldn't understand why it stood.
He just turned around. I think he was shocked.
Well, it's one of those shots where you throw it good, it felt good, but you don't always get the results you think you should have. Tough spare here for Lucy Starkey.
So the right-hander to the right part of the lane, to the right on the 10.
Wow, she made that spare. Now that's highly unusual. She goes right down the gutter. She follows the gutter all the way, sort of like a Tomahawk missile. It just follows it right down there.
All right, here we go now to Ken Starkey, 10th frame. Starkeys have picked it up now in the 7th, 8th, 9th. And now the 10th.
That's what he was looking for. That time he got the pin carry.
They could go 217, and that would give them the match.
I think that gives them the match now. They need a matter of 3 pins in 2 balls to shut them out.
So the splits will come back on Lampshire and Romp and be the telling mark in their game that took them out of this tournament, as Ken Starkey will finish up right here.
Makes the spare. It's 207. That's enough to win.
And then there will be only one quarterfinal round position. Wow, he came back and got that.
He got a little piece of it. I think he caught the paint that was on the pin, but that's all you need.
Boy, that was just getting it. They're in at 207, Lucy and Ken Starkey. Here is Debbie Lampshire. Strikes all the way through in the 10th would only give them a 199, so they are bowling for pride right now.
Boy, 5, 8, 10. That's what we call a real weak ball. But at this point, it really doesn't matter one way or the other.
Ron Romp.
Trying to keep the crowd around. And he does with the spare. That was just for the crowd. That's what that was for.
Great shot. 1 ball to throw, I believe. Yes, it is. Debbie Lampshire will take it. The best they could do right now, if they knock them all down, would be a 179 if she gets them all. But the Starkeys will move on.
6 pins.
6-pin fill on that spare. 175 their final. Lucy and Ken Starkey move on to the quarterfinal round as they defeat Debbie Lampshire and Ron Romp 207 to 175. And let's take a break now in today's action and catch this week's lesson from Ted Malicki as we go to the bowling clinic.
Once again, we're at Lake Erie Lanes in Vermilion, Ohio. Have you ever watched the Pro Bowlers Tour on TV and wonder how they get that tremendous lift and turn on the ball? Well, I would like to give you a few hints and maybe help you out. What we want you to think about when your hand is in the ball are the 2 fingers that are not in the ball. If you apply pressure and squeeze hard with these 2 fingers, you'll get more lift with the fingers that are in the ball. Secondly, we want you to concentrate on your wrist. Right in here, this part, you never want to let your wrist break back. This way you lose leverage and lift on the ball. You want a firm wrist to give you that good turn and lift. Join us next week, and we'll give you another tip on the bowling clinic.
Here's the matchup now for our final second-round match of the 1991 10-Pin Challenge. Representing the Great Oaks Lanes in Wadsworth is the team of Carla and Tony Fritz, and the Fritzes have a 28-pin handicap. They meet Candy and Bill Wilder from the Jolly Lanes in Bellevue. The Wilders have a 63-pin handicap. 1 spot left, quarterfinal round. So we would be down to 8 teams following this match.
That's right. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here.
Starting us off, Candy Wilder, bowling average 117.
Boy, solid ball in a 1-3 pocket. That didn't look like a 117 bowler on that shot.
That 10 is still wobbling.
Yes, it is. That's just a bad break. That happens a lot of times. I'm sure all the people at home who bowled, they know about the 10-pin.
Bill Wilder has a bowling average of 142, and all he wants is that 10, which is still wobbly, and it goes down.
Good job. Excellent job making that spare.
I mean, that's how well Candy hit that. That pin was shaking back and forth all the way through the reset. Here's Carla Fritz, 153 average.
Quite a big difference in our handicap today,
Yes.
Jim.
The Fritzes are from Medina. Really took her time. And we have the 3-9.
That's the sleeper back there.
Now, explain this once again, as we have through the weeks, why this becomes difficult for a lot of people.
Well, it's deflection. The ball has to hit solid, straight on with that 3-pin. If it doesn't, it'll go to the right or left, and you won't take out that 9-pin in the back. The 9 is the key on this.
Tony Fritz, 184 average. Got it.
Just got it. You see the deflection? The ball deflected left, and he just got a piece of the 9-pin for the spare.
Tough spare. They got it. They're giving up a bundle of pins coming into the match. They come in giving 35.
That's a lot. That's a big deficit to make up in one game.
That's being generous, isn't it? Carla Fritz. Good ball. Oh.
Carla on to Brooklyn.
Leaves the 9.
Leaves a 9-pin. Now, this is a much easier spare than the last one, and they only lost 1 pin in count, so this is not going to be a bad frame for them. Providing Tony Fritz makes this, of course.
Tony's been bowling 9 years. He bowls a couple of times a week. And right now goes after a 9-pin and tries to go spare to open it up.
Yes, he does. With a good cover.
Back we go to the Wilders. And Candy threw a great first ball to start the match off.
Yes, she did. She's averaging 117, and she just threw it solid in the pocket.
I don't even think it's safe to say she threw a solid 10-pin, because the 10-pin was ready to go, and it just didn't.
That time she hit the head pin on the left side, leaving 3-5-6. Not a real easy spare. It's you have to guard against a chop here. Taking the 3-pin clean straight back off the 6.
Bill Wilder. Well done, Bill.
He almost did it, but he made the spare. And that's what counts.
We'll be back to wrap this match up on 10-Pin Challenge after this timeout.
Chasing you, my lady luck. Won't you smile on me today? Yeah. Won't you lift me up? The finish line's a shout away. Hey, hey. The fastest game in town is here at Thistledown. Chasing lady luck. Yeah.
What you want, baby, we got it.
My dad taught me everything I know about cars. He only got one thing wrong. He never told me to bring my car to Speedy for brakes.
I always went some other place.
These guys are real pros. I get quality parts and a lifetime guarantee for shoes and pads.
I always went some other place.
Dad, do you think you get expert work like this for so little at some other place?
What other place?
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, that's what Speedy means to me.
One of my guys was hurt on the job. The company knows it wasn't his fault, but they still called their attorney.
Compensation for negligence is simple justice.
Yeah, I feel bad. And so does everyone else. And what's the company doing about it? Protecting itself.
Nuremberg Plevin has represented over 50,000 personal injury victims.
I told him to call Nuremberg Plevin. Not to get even, just to make it fair.
Nuremberg Plevin, attorneys at law since 1929.
The big story in this match is that the Fritzes were giving 35 pins in handicap difference coming in, and they are starting to chip away.
That's an awful lot of pins to give away in only 10 frames, Jim, so they're going to have to work hard to catch them back. Oh, rattling them, leaving the 7-pin. She's getting much more aggressive throwing the ball out there now, Jim, and that's good. She's throwing it a lot harder.
Now they're talking it over a little bit there on the side.
They're helping each other out. That's strategy. You have to have a lot of communications out there to give your partner a little help.
Tony Fritz right now trying to pick up a 7-pin here, and their 6th spare of the match.
Good job.
Now the lead is down to 24 pins as they cut 10 off of it. And the Wilders once again in the rotation that Bill will start us off, 6th frame. They're at 146 through 5.
Bill Wilder letting the ball go out a little too far to the right, close to that gutter, but it never got back to the head pin.
And the 1-2 stands. Bob Stewie, our statistician, as always on 10-Pin Challenge, and Ted, Bob, and I will be moving along for the remainder of the tournament to Wycliffe at the Palisades Palace starting next week with quarterfinal round action. Big shot here. Candy Wilder.
Boy, very good shot. Very good shot. Right down the middle, made the spare. That's important. I think what we really need here is a strike from Bill Wilder to change this rotation.
His team leads by 24 pins, though, and it's in the 7th frame already. And broke up a split as that 10-pin went down.
Was high on the head pin, leaving the 3-pin. Candy Wilder have to make this spare to keep them ahead.
Goes right after it and didn't get it. 2 openings in the match.
That's
now,
why it's
will that
important.
be enough?
They have to change that rotation. They're going to run out of time here.
7th frame, Carla Fritz comes up. She's working on a spare. Actually, they're working on 6 spares in a row, but she's got another spare showing in the 6th frame. 7th frame for them. They trail by 24 pins.
See how she energizes that ball out there. Solid in the pocket for a strike. She's throwing it much harder than she did at the beginning.
That's exactly what they needed. I mean, the spares were great, but when you're giving 35 pins, somewhere in the match you do need a strike.
That's right. You've got to throw a double or so to really put some heat on your opponent. 23 pin difference in the match, but remember, 7th frame is a telling frame. The Wilders went open, the Fritz's strike. 8th frame right now. First time that Tony's been leading off a frame. Tony Fritz running him out there, leaving him light in the pocket, leaving the 2-pin. Thought he could have caught a shaker. Important spare. Very good spare here. Important for Carla Fritz. Her first chance at throwing a spare.
Yes.
Great job. Great job. Well, they're not bowling themselves out of it, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely not. Now the difference is 12 pins. They are down by 12. But boy, this has been a long road for them back. Now, can they make it back? Bill Wilder.
They're grinding. Bill Wilder throwing the same ball he threw on lane 37, leaving a 3-pin.
All right, Candy steps up. Now, since Candy's been in the situation or in the role or the rotation, I guess is the best word, of shooting for spares, they've had 2 open frames, and it's been this kind of situation with a 1-pin lead that's been giving her fits.
Very important spare.
She missed it again.
She missed it again on the right.
Really, I think what you're seeing a classic case of is a team that has bowled pretty well, nursing a difference in handicap, nursing a lead, and the Fritz is frantically really trying to come back. Well, not really frantically, very methodically really chopping away at it.
That's right. They're just hanging in there and keeping their spares. Bill Wilder going through the nose. This is going to be the 3rd open in a roll for them, I believe. 4-6-7 split. This is an impossible split.
And Ted, to add to that, it would be their 4th out of the last 5 frames.
That's right.
I mean, unless you could pull this off.
Well, the thing you want to do is get the 2 pins. There's really no hope on this kind of spare, but you have to be lucky to make it.
So the Wilders right now, through 9, are at 190. The best they can do is 210. And Tony Fritz is up 9th frame. It's been a long road back for this team.
Their job here now is to stay out of trouble. If you don't get a strike, leave a 1-pin spare, maybe a 2-pin spare, which is a lot better than any splits. You don't want that.
184 average bowler, just missed the pocket his last time.
Again, very light.
It here.
Very light on the pocket, leaving the 2-4-5.
They are still down in the match, trailing by 4 pins.
This could come down to the 10th frame, Jim.
Wow. Which would be fitting in our final match of the 2nd round. Good shot. What a clutch shot.
Great cover by Carla Fritz. Boy, they're just staying clean and staying out of trouble. That puts them in the lead for the first time in this match.
They could roll a 229. The best the Wilders could do would be 220.
And then there's always the possibility of a tie, too.
Let's figure out what would happen there. 2-frame roll-off and a tiebreaker. Team which began the match rolls the 1st frame, and the handicap given in roll-off is 20% of the handicap given for the entire match.
Tony Fritz. Ooh, solid. He wanted that one bad. He was down on his knees, left the 4-pin. A big spare here. Very important.
All right, Carla Fritz will go after the 4-pin. They're at 198. They lead by 8 pins in the match. She's taking a lot of time here. Steps into it.
Boy, what a great shot. What a great exhibition of spare shooting.
You could really tell she was set up, though, correct.
She knew what she had her mind focused on, what she had to do.
One ball to fill here. If he gets them all, knocks them down, Tony and Carla Fritz would end with a 218 and really have worked in this match.
Oh, yes, they did. Very hard they worked.
But they would be clean all the way through. Nice finish. The 10 won't go down. And they're at 217. Now, the best the Wilders could do is at 220, so it does come down to the 10th frame.
Bill Wilder here up on lane 38 at Yorktown Lanes needs a strike to stay in this match.
So that's simple. Let's sit back and watch. Didn't get it. Match is over.
Little soft, leaving this baby split 310.
Carla and Tony Fritz can really take their first real deep breath of victory here this afternoon, and it didn't come until the 10th frame, as they truly were warriors here today, really handicap warriors, I think, that they fought the pin differential and ended up surviving and winning it. Good match, and we send our final team off to the quarterfinal round. Carla and Tony Fritz beat Bill and Candy Wilder 217 to 198.
Most people like them because they save time and money. Others like them because they actually improve employee performance. Still others like what they do for the company's image. But what do the people who wear a Cintas uniform think?
My uniform's red hot. My uniform's red hot. Hey, it looks good. And feels fine.
Uniforms from Cintas, because if you're not in Cintas, you're not in uniform.
Red hot. Red hot. Looks good. Chasing you, my lady luck. Won't you smile on me today? Yeah. Won't you lift me up? The finish line's a shout away. Yeah, hey. Fastest game in town. Hear that thistle down. Chasing lady luck. Yeah.
What you want, baby, we got it.
My dad taught me everything I know about cars. He only got one thing wrong. He never told me to bring my car to Speedy for brakes.
I always went some other place.
These guys are real pros. I get quality parts and a lifetime guarantee for shoes and pads.
I always went some other place.
Dad, do you think you get expert work like this for so little at some other place?
What other place?
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, that's what Speedy means to me.
All bowlers appearing on 10-Pin Challenge receive prizes from Speedy Muffler King. Come to Speedy for mufflers, brakes, or shocks and get the respect you deserve.
Welcome back to 10-Pin Challenge. And Ted, I think it's safe to say in the second round we saw it all. And in our final match that you just saw conclude here, we saw a handicap really figure in and a team really fight their way back.
That's right. 35 pins was a big deficit to come back from. And next week, or when we go to our finals or our quarterfinals, we're going to see a lot more of the same.
And the quarterfinals will begin next week. First of all, we want to extend a real thank you to Mike Cottrell and his great staff here at the Yorktown Lanes in Parma Heights. It's been great action here, and they've been really congenial hosts. And to our audience here today, thank you, and we hope that you'll all come out and see us at the Palisades Palace in Wickliffe. We start the quarterfinals next week. For Ted Malicki, I'm Jim Donovan. So long, everybody.